Since the dawn of civilization, humanity has been intrigued with the question about what the future holds. People are still searching for the source of knowledge that will unlock and reveal the mysteries of the future. Prophetic insights have been for thousands of years a fundamental part of various religious beliefs. Over 83% of the world's population today has some sort of faith. Around the world there are 2.2 billion Christians, 1.6 billion Muslims, 1 billion Hindus, 500 million Buddhists, and 400 million people practicing various folk or traditional religions. Clearly, an interest in the future is a concern that's deeply rooted in human nature. How about you? Have you ever wondered about the world's future? Or is this question dark and ominous? Perhaps it's even frightening. In an attempt to secure a safer world, global leaders have set up many organizations to find solutions to the world's most threatening issues. But the world we live in is still filled with violence and crime. Financial and political chaos can be seen everywhere. People are desperately looking to their leaders for an assurance of a safer and secure future. But is this something they can offer? 1/3 of the US population believe this ancient book, the Bible, has the insights that will give certainty to millions as they face the future. The most famous book in history, the Bible, is in fact a collection of 66 books written by over 40 different authors during a period of 1600 years. Originally written in ancient Hebrew and Greek, it has now been translated into over 2,400 different languages. Filled with biographies, ancient stories, proverbs and poems, the Bible also contains over 1,800 different prophecies. Among numerous other things, it has predicted the rise and fall of some of the world's greatest empires. In fact, the unique ability to predict the future is one of the main identifying traits of the God of the Bible.
Remember the former things of old. For I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
After 1900 years since the completion of the Bible, we have the advantage of looking back through history and examining its prophecies against the clear light of historical facts. This ancient city, ruled by the great Nebuchadnezzar, rose to heights of fame and splendor never seen before. The capital of an empire covering an area of modern Iraq, Syria, Lebanon and Israel, with its impenetrable walls encompassing grand palaces, beautiful streets and hanging gardens, was the glory of the ancient world. Yet today, this once great city with all its architectural splendor leaves us with little but ruins and artifacts, telling us of its glorious past.
Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
In 539 BC, the Persian prince Cyrus the Great entered Babylon. After taking the city, Cyrus proclaimed himself king of the universe, the great king, the powerful king, king of Babylon, king of Sumer and Akkad, the king of the four quarters of the world. Yet here is the amazing thing. Over 150 years before, God had predicted that this man Cyrus would invade and conquer Babylon. Even before his birth, God had called him by name. While Babylon was still in its infancy, to the west, along the Nile River, the pharaohs were building a great empire of cities, temples, and pyramids. Egypt became the dominant empire of the ancient world. For centuries, it was a mighty force to be reckoned with. But the God of the Bible set a time limit to this proud and wealthy nation. And just as the Bible predicted, Egypt has never again risen to the prominence it once held amongst the nations.
Thus saith the Lord God, they shall be there a base kingdom. It shall be the basest of the kingdoms, neither shall it exalt itself any more above the nations. For I will diminish them, that they shall no more rule over the nations.
Since her defeat by the Persians, Egypt has been controlled by many nations, including Greece, Rome, the Ottoman Empire, and Europe. To this day, modern Egypt bears not even a dim resemblance to her former days of glory. Tyre, a well-fortified port city located along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. The city was well defended with large walls that rose over 40 meters in height. In the book of Ezekiel, we find a very detailed prophecy concerning the destruction of Tyre. According to this prophecy, Babylon and other nations would lay siege to the city, breaking through its wall and throwing all the rubble into the water.
I am against thee, O Tyrus, and I will cause many nations to come up against thee. I will bring upon Tyrus Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, a king of kings from the north. And they shall lay thy stones and thy timber and thy dust in the midst of the water. And I will make thee like the top of a rock. Thou shalt be a place to spread nets upon. Thou shalt be built no more. For I, the Lord, have spoken it, saith the Lord God.
Tyre attracted the attention of the king of Babylon, who laid siege to the city for 13 years during the 6th century BC. During this siege, most of the inhabitants of the mainland city abandoned it for the relative safety of the island city, located 1 kilometer off the coast. 2 centuries later, Alexander the Great took the rubble of the old city, throwing it into the midst of the water as prophesied, and made a land bridge linking the mainland to the island. Moving his war machines over this bridge, he breached the wall, completely destroying the city. Few places on earth have captured the interest of humanity as much as the ethereal city of Petra, its name meaning rock. Located in present-day Jordan, this amazing city was built by Nabatean nomads who traded luxury goods and costly incense. These Arabian traders, with their enormous earnings, managed to create a city built into the rock in the middle of the desert. Lost to the world for centuries, Petra became just an old legend, and all the verses about this city were regarded by many as proof that the Bible is just a book full of fairy tales. But in 1812, the Swiss explorer Johann Burckhardt, disguised as an Arabian sheik, discovered the lost city. When he published his report, it seemed almost unbelievable that such a picturesque place could have existed just 161 kilometers south of Jerusalem without being known. For centuries, Petra seemed secure in its unassailable fortress of rock. Yet today it lies in ruins, uninhabited, in fulfillment of the prophetic words,
as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it.
As is evident by these few examples, what the Bible predicted about the future of these ancient cities is now proven by their ruins. Skeptics have long dismissed the Bible as a book of tales and legends. They claim that there's no real evidence to support its claims. But over the past 200 years, artifacts have been uncovered from the ruins of ancient cities to the desert caves of the Dead Sea, proving the accuracy of the biblical records. Among the most famous of these finds are the Dead Sea Scrolls. These contain portions of every book of the Old Testament except one. These texts, dating back to the 3rd century BC, continue to add support to the Bible's accuracy. As the evidence keeps mounting with each new discovery, the question of the Bible's historical value, as well as its prophetic insights, is becoming very clear. In the 1950s, Peter Stoner, a professor emeritus of mathematics and astronomy at Pasadena City College, took the following 8 prophecies from the Bible concerning the coming Messiah to determine what was the possibility That one man could fulfill all 8 in every detail. He and his students come up with a conservative number of 1 in 10 to the power of 17. That's 100 followed by 15 zeros. Or simply, 1 chance in every 100 quadrillion. To put this in perspective, let's imagine that you were to take 100 quadrillion grains of sand and line them up in a long line. Your line would go from Earth to the Sun and back over 330 times. With over 300 messianic prophecies that were fulfilled in Jesus Christ, we are left with no doubt as to the divine origin of these predictions and of the Bible's accuracy in foretelling future events. The Bible's most detailed books of prophecy are Daniel and Revelation. The prophetic scope of these 2 books takes us from ancient Babylon through to detailed events of recent history and of those yet to come. In these 2 books, we not only see prophecy, but we see God reaching out to humanity with love and concern. We see Him revealing the future so that we may be better equipped for the challenges that lay before us.
For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end.
Hi, we are the team behind the film you have just watched.
We hope you enjoyed it. Isn't it amazing to see how throughout history God has revealed the future through the Bible?
But what does the Bible reveal about our future?
To many, the prophecies about future events seem mysterious and hard to understand. But instead of being sealed and hidden to our understanding, God has pronounced a blessing upon those who study them.
Just as the Bible foretold of the fate of Egypt, Babylon, Tyre and Petra, and just as the wise men of the East who knew of the birth and mission of Jesus Christ,
God also wants to reveal to us the things that are about to happen.
That's why it's called the Book of Revelation.
About 8 years ago, I picked up a book and read about Satan's plans to destroy us and also ultimately God's plans to deliver us from him. I couldn't put the book down and I realized it was the most important information I could ever read.
Because of what knowledge of the future has done for us individually, as well as seeing the sinful, violent, degenerate age in which we live, because of the urgent instruction and dire warnings given us in the spirit of prophecy,
we feel compelled to share what we have learned with those around us.
Our local church has gone through a lot of time, effort and expense to produce a series of booklets containing this information, and it's freely available to whoever wants it.
We entitled the series The Spirit of Prophecy after a book in the 1800s which it's based on.
It details the Christian history from the sufferings of the first centuries down to the Dark Ages, through the Protestant Reformation, through the current events we see unfolding before us.
From there it describes in great detail exactly what spiritual, political and religious battles are about to take place and what we need to do to prepare ourselves for the turbulent times ahead.
Because we truly believe in the importance of this message and the immeasurable benefit we are confident will bring to our reader,
our church has decided to make the Spirit of Prophecy series available to everyone in the community totally free.
For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord. thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end.